It's finally here. The ecosystem is about to explode like you have never seen before, and it's one ecosystem in particular that I think we need to focus on. During the last bull market, when we went beyond previous all-time highs, Bitcoin rallied 232% in just a few weeks. However, it wasn't the holders of Bitcoin that saw the biggest gains, it was the holders within one particular ecosystem that reaped the rewards of what's going to happen over the next 4 to 6 weeks. It's not the same ecosystem in this bull market though, it's a different one. I'm going to tell you which one it is, and a few coins that I think you should focus on based on what happened in the previous bull. Hit that like button, let's get into today's videos. Okay, let's take a moment for a deep breath to appreciate what we've been through. 5 months of pretty much this sideways action in this reaccumulation schematic. You can see we've been through the spring phase recently that shook the cockles of even the most hardened diamond hander out there. We're now up into this LPS, or the last point of supply, and we're moving into the jump across the creek and then on to the next LPS. So why so excited on this Sunday afternoon? Well, because of this. You can see in the last bull market, Bitcoin rallies to previous all-time high levels, and then it spends 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks bouncing around. Wouldn't that have been a treat instead of spending 5 months in the same zone? Well, after it broke beyond there, Bitcoin went pretty much straight up into this first phase of the bull market, rallying 238%. Pretty sure I said 232 in the intro. Don't fire me. So why care? Many altcoins don't seem to be that excited right now. Well, that's because the Bitcoin dominance continues to rally up in this very bearish pattern, but don't worry, it's rallying into this really crucial line of support that ultimately will flip likely into resistance, and that will see the altcoins emerge victorious once more. But not every altcoin is equal, and not every altcoin will be getting rallying straight away. And I'll explain why that is in just a moment. So all we need to do is identify the date at which Bitcoin broke beyond this high. And because I paid attention during that last bull market, and fortunately enough I was there, I know which other coins benefited from gains during this period of time. And most notably, it was Ethereum. So am I telling you to go and run and buy Ethereum? Absolutely not. But bear with me, because it's important to dissect what's going on. And I know it's difficult for many, but remember, only 5% of people win in this crypto bull market. So if you can avoid the 95% of people who have a lower attention span than a goldfish, then you might just be able to do all right, because you're going to understand the dynamic of what this next move is going to be. Now, I talked the other day about manufacturing, and why manufacturing going up means that there is liquidity entering the market. And I recommend checking out that video I made just the other day if you want more info on that. But effectively, what I'm telling you is that we have a bull market that will run till around the middle of 2025. And all the crypto market is the degenerate next leg on for all the people who've been making tons of money in the NASDAQ and stock markets and bonds and Russell Group shares. And we can see that this is happening right now in that the small cap Russell Group has flipped the NASDAQ, or the larger cap NASDAQ, which means they're slowly shifting towards more and more degenerate trades, and the crypto piece is the most degenerate level of them all. But remember, money flows into the least degenerate cryptos first, Bitcoin, and then starts to flood down to the more degenerate ones, more gaming I would guess, later on in the bull market. So why so important right now? Well, remember, this period of time right now is where the bigger cap coins will likely rally, because it's the next phase on from the NASDAQ and the Russell and whatever else. People are moving their money slowly into more and more speculative assets, but this is still early. We've still got a year left. So if Bitcoin rallied during this period, who else was rallying? Well, we already know Ethereum rallied the most at this point in time. It literally wasn't until more than 8 months before Solana even arrived on the scene. So all you needed to do around this time in the last bull market was make yourself a few X's in the likes of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then later on in the line, you could go and take more and more speculative bets. But you don't take those speculative ones right this second, because it's less reliable. While you might see other people making 100x on this and 200x on this, the chances of you picking that coin are much less than you're picking a 5 to 10xer in the next few months. And then you can translate those gains down the line into something like Solana that did a 268x in the last bull market. But we already know that Ethereum is being flipped in terms of daily activity by one other coin out there. And how can we see that? Well, since the lows after FTX, Solana is up 1,400%. Meanwhile, Ethereum is only up 257% in that period of time, which means that Solana is likely a better ecosystem to bet on, perhaps, than Ethereum. And my price prediction for Solana? Well, currently it's at $185. I think there's a reasonable case for Solana getting towards $700 in this bull market, which is 280%, which is not the most exciting gains out there unless you've been subscribed to my channel for the last few years and you were buying Solana around $8. But you can see Solana has been breaking out and is playing very strongly when Bitcoin plays strongly. So how do we make more than 280% if Solana ecosystem does well? Well, the point is in the ecosystem, not in Solana. Look at the ecosystem. The coins under Solana will do well. How do we find which coins? Well, easy. You go to ChatGPT and you ask it, during the last bull market when Ethereum started to boom, which coins benefited the most? And it says layer 2 solutions such as Polygon, DeFi tokens such as Uniswap and Aave. So decentralized exchanges, interesting. Aave, decentralized lending protocols, interesting. Stablecoins, meh, obviously NFT platforms and a few other bits and pieces. But main focus is then layer 2 solutions and ultimately DEXs, lending protocols, stuff that is basically going to be used for DeFi on the Solana ecosystem. And I get it, that's not the most exciting stuff in the world, but remember, the goal over the next few weeks is to turn some of money into a few X's at least, and then build through the course of the bull market. Hopefully, if you can get over the ridiculous opening ceremony of the Olympics, which I'm not going to talk about because it enrages me, and get into some of the actual athletics and performance stuff, you might have in the past watched a 10,000 meter race. You will notice that any runners in the 10,000 meter race that go off too fast tend to not finish particularly strong. Crypto's the same. You want to start slow, build a nice base, and then finish rapidly, okay? And remember, we're on that curve into more degeneracy. The least degenerate, we got Bitcoin, and then we got the kind of like the big caps. And then where do the institutions want to push their money? Well, they want to go towards more kind of DeFi related products with big capital locked inside them because they're safe. But let me just check something. How did Uniswap perform from the 14th of December? Well, if we go from the 14th of December, which is somewhere around here for Uniswap, then you can see that the gains did like 19x in a very short space of time. That was literally from December all the way till May. Okay, so 5 months, nearly a 20x. Not bad. 14th of December, again, what have we got? This is Aave. You can see Aave then did, in literally the space of about 3 weeks, it did an 8x, okay? Absolutely bonkers gains. And Aave, not the most exciting thing in the world, okay? Basically a big lending staking protocol. So if big, boring lending staking protocols and DEXs seem to do well on Ethereum at this point in the last bull market, it seems to me like Solana will have some good coins that show similar, perhaps, benefits to like Uniswap, like a DEX, and other things like staking lending protocols, or ways to maximize your yields by holding Solana. So let's go to DeFiLlama.com. This is Solana, and why Solana again is of interest to us. Click on volume and you can see, obviously this is mostly meme coins and degens. I think that's going to continue to be a thing, but perhaps it might take a bit of a break as we see a return to kind of altcoins, etc. But look at the TVL, this blue line. TVL absolutely skyrocketing, not quite at all-time highs, but the TVL on Solana right now is $6 billion. So let's come down through the list and we can start to identify some decentralized exchanges and some other liquid staking protocols. And what's handy about this particular platform is it ranks them in terms of 7-day changes. Now, what's very interesting is these particular coins up here have seen the biggest gains in just the last week or so. Now, whereas normally I would say never go and buy big pumps on coins, it's kind of interesting. We are in the early stages of a pump phase that you can kind of go and use this to identify kind of more sure bets. At the top, we've got Jito. So let's find out a bit about Jito. So it's a MEV-powered staking reward. MEV, you've probably heard of MEV bots, maximum extractable value. Basically, the MEV extracts additional profit from traders as well as from mining, etc., which is interesting. And what's very interesting is it has 11.9 million Solana total value locked, 105,000 holders and a 7% APY. Okay, 7% APY, basically staking Solana tokens. Therefore, you probably have to hold tokens in Jito to be able to support Solana. So this is interesting, right? It's the number one on the DeFi Llama in terms of performance of the total value locked increase over the last kind of week or so since we've seen Bitcoin reawaken and Solana starting to look strong again at a phase in the last bull market. Ethereum was looking strong, so now Solana. And when Ethereum was looking strong, you saw Aave looking incredibly strong because it offered kind of ways to maximize your yields on Ethereum. And now you've got something that's going to maximize your yields on Solana that's already doing it for lots of people. Take a deep breath. Hopefully that makes sense. So what about Jito? $391 million market cap. And I know a load of the goldfish that we were talking about earlier will be down in the comments, be like, too much money, too high a market cap. I get it, okay? I get it. It's not going to see you 100x. But the point is, not everything moves at the same time. The big coins will be moving early. You make some gains in those, and then you take the gains once you've secured a big enough bag to be able to take some more speculative bets later on, 6 months down the line when you can kind of calm down. So Jito, 391 mil. And let's do something really sort of speculative. And we can look at what Aave that went up to around $6.5 billion. But you can see it did it in a very short space of time. So it went up from like around 300 mil and then it rallied all the way up to $6 billion in a very short space of time, which is effectively a 20x in just a couple of weeks. So that to me makes Jito a pretty safe bet. Obviously not financial advice, do your own research and whatever, okay? But simply, I'm just trying to tell you how I've reverse engineered something that worked already and is likely to happen again because of how the flood of liquidity moves through these bull markets. Now, obviously, I've just completely skimmed over Jito, okay? I don't know too much about it. One thing you want to go and look at, this is a very key factor, okay? This is a very positive thing. And then you can go and look into blog. Then what I would do is jump across to cryptorank.io, okay? Look at Jito Labs here. And then you can go dig deeper, dive into a little bit more about like who the backers are, who have they got partnerships with. Same with real world assets we talked about the other day. You know, the reason Ondo Finance has been seeing so much success recently is because of a partnership with BlackRock. Big names, etc., make the bigger money that's flowing into the market feel more confident. Remember, they're not yet at that degen go and buy a Bored Ape for 700k level, right? They're still kind of like tiptoeing into the crypto space. So they want to find like stable products with big TVLs, with big backers, etc. It helps that they're backed by Solana Ventures and they're built on Solana. Obviously pretty well respected. Obviously, they've got a couple of tier 1 investors as well, which is pretty key. Okay, so let's have a quick look at Jito on the charts. This is on Coinbase. Another kind of like key thing to look at, guys. Coins listed on bigger exchanges, the likes of Coinbase right now, are going to be, again, the kind of safer bets earlier on in this phase of the market, okay? So as well as looking at TVLs and things like that, as well as looking at who's backing them, if they're on like top tier exchanges, there's a good chance they're going to see some growth in the early phases of this bull market. Now, I'm not discounting all the sort of smaller caps out there that I've been talking about over the last few months. We will continue to talk about those, and I can tell you that they're also going to be seeing lots of growth. I'm saying if you're going to focus attention somewhere right now, it's not a bad place to look. You can see that Jito right now has been ramping up over the last few weeks since Bitcoin basically dipped towards that low. Okay, that's good to know because Solana's been pushing in that same time as well. And this is up, 79, 80%. So, which is showing us good intent to go higher. Obviously, we don't like to buy massive green candles, but that's when massive green candles are all the way up here. If they've been going down through red for a while, this is not a bad confirmation for us. Okay, rather than catching the falling knife, we're waiting for it to bounce, and it's given us a good opening. Now, what I would look at on a daily chart, if I was to find an entry for this, ultimately you can see there's probably an entry area somewhere in and around here, from around $2.4, around $2.8. Obviously, if Bitcoin kind of has another little retest down around 66 to 65k, then you will see Jito, etc., pull back into this area, and that will give you a good entry. So where do we head next? Well, we know as well on Ethereum, we had Uniswap, right? Uniswap, decentralized exchange. It makes sense that a decentralized exchange does well when a particular ecosystem starts to run hot. And we talked about this back in the autumn of last year when Avalanche started to run up. Okay, so Avalanche was running up around the 30th of October. And we identified that a DEX was probably going to see good growth as well. So we talked about Pangolin around that time as well. And then within a very short space of time, Pangolin did nearly a 43x. Okay, I know a lot of viewers on this channel made huge gains in Pangolin. And this is just from reverse engineering what's happened before and identifying what services a particular chain will need if that ecosystem's blowing up. We know Solana's blowing up. We can see it in the statistics. Therefore, particular things within that ecosystem will likely move as well. So, deep breath. Let's go back to DeFiLlama.com. Let's go to Solana, and then let's go down and have a look at some DEXs, okay, categories. And you can see there's a few. We got Radium, okay, Radium up here, DEX, seeing some good changes in the last few days, and we've got Jupiter. Now, both of these have significant TVL. Radium over $1 billion, pretty impressive. Half a mil for Jupiter, still decent. Jupiter, $1.5 billion market cap. How big did Uniswap go in the last bull market? And I'm not saying that there's any guarantee that it's going to go as big as Uniswap, but this is just one way that we can maybe have a guesstimate on where it might head, okay? Goes to all-time highs. Uniswap hit $22 billion, which is pretty bloody big. Although at $1.5 billion, which is what currently Radium's at, then you're going to look at less, 15x. If you feel the need to pull out your calculator so you can tell me I'm wrong, thank you for that. All comments are welcome, but you get the picture, right? But the other one we talked about was Radium. But this is interesting, because Radium is a $643 million market cap, which is obviously like half the size of the one on Jupiter. But if I go back to this, then I see something interesting because I come down and I'm like, well, Radium is up in fourth with more TVL and better kind of like ROI than Jupiter right now. So I've seen a lot of people being like, I'm betting on Jupiter. Maybe this is a bit rogue, but maybe it makes sense that Radium might be a better bet than Jupiter. So you can obviously go and do your own research and choose which one's best, but let's just have a quick look at Radium and see what's going on. Website, come across to Radium, you can see on the DEX some decent volumes going through. Obviously looking for bigger volumes, etc. But you're not going to find a huge amount of detail here on kind of what Radium is. Therefore, I recommend going across to CryptoRank.io, and we can go and look at some of the other statistics, okay? Funds and backers, and then ultimately we're looking for the fully diluted valuation. I think this is kind of like what might sway me towards Radium over Jupiter is the fact that there's much bigger FDV in Radium and it's got a smaller market cap. It's as simple as that, okay? Both of these dexes will probably have a very strong bull market. Let's go and look at the charts, though, and see whether we got decent entries still. Okay, here we go. Well, you can see the Radium launched at a bad time in the last bull market, around the top of the bull market pretty much, okay? And then obviously it fell off the face of a cliff like pretty much all of crypto did. And you can see it's been rallying up quite nicely, and in the last week has seen a big move, okay? So I'm saying right now, obviously it would have been great to have been picking up these kind of dips down here, but right now with kind of pretty high conviction, you can enter into an area like this. 600 mil to move towards the Uniswap all-time high of the last bull market. It's looking towards like 25 to 30x if things go well. Obviously nothing is guaranteed. You can see we're running into these highs, seeing a bit of rejection, but that's ultimately fine, okay? We eventually will likely put in a break beyond here, maybe a retest, and then a push. Radium looking solid from my opinion. And you can continue to go and look through the Solana ecosystem. And if these projects don't interest you so much, go across to CoinGecko if you want to find some more Solana ones, and just go and click on cryptocurrencies and go by chains and click on Solana, and you can see that here, Solana coin is showing the best performers in the last 24 hours since Bitcoin and Solana are starting to push. If Bitcoin's pushing, which is going to likely do very soon, then Solana is also pushing around that time, and you can see the facts here. Then the coins that are also pushing along with Solana will likely see the best gains when Solana rips towards the upside. Go and look at what they are. Jupiter doing well. Jito, if you want to go into the meme coins, Bonk's been pretty much underperforming during this meme season, and Solana is back. It's likely to drive Bonk ahead. Mew has obviously been doing unbelievably well with massive trading volumes. You can go and look at Dog with Hat and all the others if you so wish. And there's other coins you can look at on Solana. Render has literally just moved over there as well, which is obviously a very positive move, and people are pretty keen on what Render is doing. Now, it's not just Solana that's going to see significant gains in this bull market, in my opinion. I think as well, you're likely to see a big shift in the Avalanche ecosystem. And later on in the week, we'll look at the Avalanche ecosystem. So we'll do basically the same thing using Avalanche and find some massive gainers so we can find the next 42x like Pangolin and others. So make sure you subscribe with that bell notification on if you want to catch that video. Now, if you want to trade any of the coins that I talked about on this video today, I'm going to go straight after this video and I'm going to ask Bitunix to make sure they've listed all of them. Then go across to bitunix.com, link down below in the description. They will list all the coins that I asked them to speak about. So every time you're watching one of my videos, if I talk about coins, they're going to be available more than likely over on bitunix.com. It also doesn't require a KYC, it doesn't require a VPN, so you can access it wherever you are in the world with very little issue. So obviously you enjoyed that for a Sunday afternoon. Hit the like button, subscribe, see you tomorrow.